Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Last week I was not able to post anything because I was not feeling well, but to compensate for that I have come up with a very interesting paper cutting video, that is how to cut paper portraits. The portrait paper cut you see on screen is that of Robert Downey Jr. This is an example of low resolution paper cutting portrait. I was able to do this in less than 2 hours because I was in a quick fix and I had to quickly prepare something for my exhibition. So that's when I decided to do this low resolution paper cutting portrait. And for this tutorial I'm going to use this low resolution stencil of Chris Evans, or better known as Captain America, to tell you about how to go about a low resolution portrait paper cutting. Every paper cutting portrait has three major parts. First is face and those body parts which are not covered by paper. Then there is hair, and finally there are the body parts which are covered by the cloth or the attire that the person is wearing. As a rule of thumb, if you are doing paper cutting on a white paper, then in that case all the skin exposed areas we keep intact and we do not cut them out, and all the areas where there is clothing or attire we cut them out completely. Normally for any portrait paper cutting done on a white paper, you will have a black background against it. So just think in your mind that when you are doing the paper cutting and after you put it on a black background, which parts you want to keep dark. So on the attire areas, what I am going to do is that I will remove the white portion, but you will see that there are a lot of disconnected black pieces on the paper. That means that those black spots are not connected to any other black spots. So if I'll remove the white portions, those black spots will also go away with them. So the first thing that I need to do is to connect them with lines to other nearby black spots. While you're doing this, ensure that you are not connecting or creating a very complex web, because it will create difficulty in your paper cutting. There will be some spots that you will not be able to connect altogether, and it is okay to let them go. But connect the bigger spots that are disconnected from the entire portrait. And this is how your stencil is going to look after you have connected the black spots as much as you can. Please note that any software that generates the stencil cannot get rid of this problem, because software normally just converts a colored picture into a black and white stencil. So for every portrait you will need to do a little bit of prep work on the attire area and on the face area before you start the paper cutting. When you're taking out a big piece of paper cut, please do not just rip it out of your design. Remove it gently, because there are chances that you might have missed a few pieces here and there to cut with the blade, and it's good if you do it gently. You will get to know and you can cut it and then take out the piece properly. So with this we have completed the attire area of the portrait, which is like you have finished one major part of your portrait paper cut. I have deliberately left one piece in the attire area since this is a very big piece, and if I'll remove it at this point, then it might make the remaining portrait very fragile. So I'll remove it at a later stage. But now I'll proceed to the neck area where I'll be removing the shadow areas denoted by the black spots in the stencil. I'm starting the face area with the lower portion of the face, that is I'll be cutting the nose, mustache, lip and the beard portion, and then I'll be moving towards the remaining portion of the face. So this is how my portrait looks so far, and I'll be doing the eyes at the last because eyes are the most critical part of the face, and if I accidentally ruin them, I'll have to redo the entire portrait again. So next I am going to proceed towards the hair portion. Now hair in any portrait is very tricky because you have to decide on your own whether you want to keep the black part or you want to keep the white part. Besides the design that is already present on the stencil, you might need to remove certain pieces of paper from the portrait on your own to provide a more realistic look to your portrait after the entire portrait has been finished. This you can do based on the actual image that you use to create the stencil, or you can do it based on your own intuition also. And finally we reach on the last stage of the portrait paper cutting, that is the eyes. Since eyes are the most critical portion of the face and provide the most realistic output, so it is recommended that when you are doing the eyes, please be very careful, take your time and do not rush it. As a last step, before you completely cut out the portrait from the printed paper, create a thin border across the entire portrait, which will help you during the framing process. Once you're done with that, then you can cut out the portrait so that you can get the final paper cutting design. So this is how my portrait paper cutting looks after I have finished it, and you'll get the actual feel of the portrait once you put it against the black background. For black backgrounds, I normally use olive black paper and not regular black paper because olive black paper give a better contrast as compared to the regular black paper. The last step is the framing process. Since this is a A4 size portrait that I have cut, I am using an A4 size frame. This frame I got from Amazon at a really cheap rate. The link I have put in the description box, you can check it out later. So to insert my portrait paper cutting into the frame, I'll open the frame from the back and put it against the glass of the frame. I can see certain dust particles on the glass, so I'll use this lint-free cloth to clean the glass of the frame. To ensure that the portrait does not move inside the frame after I have completely closed the frame, what I will do is that I am going to paste this portrait on the black background by using micro dots of the transparent glue. To better apply the small dots of glue, use a toothpick. Now that my portrait is secure on the black background, I'll simply put it face down against the glass and then I will close the frame. And with this we have our framed portrait paper cut ready. You can see that there is a slight thick border at the bottom because the picture that I have taken from the internet for the stencil was of that size. Since I didn't have frame in that size, I simply used the A4 frame. But what you can do is that you can use this space to write a message to whomsoever you are giving the frame as a gift. Otherwise, try to keep the border symmetrical across all the four sides. I hope you guys enjoyed this video on how to cut a low resolution portrait. I'll be definitely doing couple of more videos on portrait paper cutting, one on how to do a high resolution portrait and one on how to do a portrait printout taken on a black paper. But for the next video, I'll definitely be going to tell you how to create the stencils that I have used in this particular video for the portrait paper cutting. And that's all for today, folks. If you guys like this video, then please do not forget to like, share, subscribe and all those good things. So stay tuned for my next video and I will see you soon. Take care. Bye bye.